Call it a gut punch, call it instant karma, call it a rude awakening. Donald Trump is learning just how much this country hates him. The latest polling results from The Economist show the following. Donald Trump's approval in Georgia, negative 18.6%. Donald Trump's approval in Texas, negative 17.2%. In Michigan, negative 15.8%. In North Carolina, negative 13.6%. In Ohio, negative 9.2%. How about Florida? Negative 7.5%. How about Iowa? Negative 8.7%. How about South Carolina? Negative 7.3%. Or Mississippi? Negative 6.9%. How about Alaska? Negative 6.6%. Or Ruby Red, Louisiana? Negative 5.1%. And Nebraska? Negative 1.8%. Donald Trump's approval is atrocious. It is the worst in modern presidential history. Strike that. The worst in presidential history. He is utterly despised by the American people. And those poll numbers just slapped him across the face as he continues to embarrass the United States when he traveled to Davos this week, and he continues to embarrass us every single day with just his pathetic behavior. I mean, take a look at what his cabinet was just saying over the past 24 to 48 hours. You've got Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying that, well, you know, most adults have 5, 10, 15 homes. And so when you have 15 homes, you're able to diversify your portfolio. What are you talking about? Adults have 5, 10 homes. No one has 5 to 10 homes other than your right-wing billionaire friends. Americans can't afford homes right now. Americans can't afford groceries right now. Y'all are ripping away people's health care right now. You're refusing to extend the Affordable Care Act, and you have the ICE and Border Patrol Gestapo terrorizing communities. And you're like, you have 5 to 10 homes. No one has 5 to 10. These people are so out of touch. Here, play this clip.
We're going to give guidance at some point to see what is a mom and pop. That someone, maybe your parents for their retirement, about 5, 10, 12 homes. So we don't want to push the mom and pops out. We just want to push everyone else out.
Now, talking about out of touch, then you have Brooke Rollins, Donald Trump's agriculture secretary. She's been saying for the last few weeks, everything can just be more affordable if you just eat one piece of broccoli, one piece of tortilla, one piece of chicken, and one other thing. It's $3 a day. We've run simulations on this. This is what you get. Remember, they were previously like, you get one doll, one pencil, and now they're like one chicken, one broccoli, one piece of a tortilla, and one other thing. She's continuing to do this. She's saying, actually, we ran another 1,000 simulations, and she goes, your entire day's meal should only cost you $15.64 if you follow our nutrition guidelines. $15.64? What planet are you living in? And while y'all are out there on your yachts, plural, multiple yachts, private jets, talking about golden ballrooms, stop lecturing us on eating $15.46 worth of food in a day for our families. How dare you? What the hell are these people? Here, play this clip.
I said, come back to me and let me know. And I don't want any funny business with numbers. Like, I really want to know what that looks like, because we had run almost 1,000 simulations, and between $3 and $4 is a fair number if you can have access to that food. So just about an hour ago, I saw new numbers that were run. A full day, meaning 3 full square meals and a snack, is about $15.64. $15.64. That's all 3 meals and a snack. So we'll be talking more about that in the coming days and weeks.
Oh, and then you have Donald Trump's Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick. And Howard Lutnick says, you know what? Greenland isn't even a country the last time I checked. Greenland isn't a country. Here, play this clip right here.
What would you say if one of our allies said, look, we're going to go in and take over another country, even though the country said we're not interested? I mean, we talk all day and every day about evil action from Putin going into Ukraine. I mean, people are looking at this and saying, how is it possible that the U.S. can acquire another country, even though they're pushing back?
Well, I don't remember Greenland being another country. We're not taking over Denmark. It's just Greenland is in our hemisphere. It's far, far away from Denmark, as we know. And it's 57,000 people, right, who are close to America, and it's important for us to make sure we protect the Western Hemisphere. The strength of America in the Western Hemisphere is vital for the world. When America shines, the world shines.
Okay, then you have MAGA Mike Johnson, and MAGA Mike Johnson is like, he's asked a question by Manu Raju at CNN. So Trump's tariff authority expires at the end of the month. Is Congress going to do its job? Because the power of the purse, the power of taxation, the power of tariffs is the power of Congress. Are you going to do anything, MAGA Mike? And MAGA Mike goes, I have no intention of getting in the way of the president. What do you mean you have no intention? There's something called the freaking Constitution, and Article 1 vests these powers with you. You weak, pathetic imbecile. Play this clip.
You have an opportunity to try to block any vote challenging Trump's tariffs. These authorities expiring at the end of the month. Will you insert in a rule a provision blocking any effort to challenge Trump's tariffs?
We're determining all of that. What I would say is that I have no intention of getting in the way of President Trump and his administration and how they've been using this very effectively. I mean, you're talking about, I think it's $10 trillion or more. I don't know the exact total, but trillions of dollars have been brought into the U.S. in 1 year's time since President Trump took over.
And then more from MAGA Mike when he was asked, so what do you make about it that Donald Trump has just created a board, which he calls a board of peace, and he now has Vladimir Putin joining? Let's take a listen to what MAGA Mike says. Let's play this clip.
I think there's a long list of people nominated for the Board of Peace, and I think some of the details are still being determined. And for $1 billion, you get a permanent seat. I saw over the weekend. I've not dug into the details of that. It's not within our purview. It's an administration project, but I think it's one that's greatly welcomed. We need a Board of Peace there.
Speaking of polls, which I showed earlier, I want to share this with you as well. As Harry Enton says, you want to know how poorly Donald Trump is polling when it comes to both his cover-up of the Epstein files and his threats to Greenland? Greenland polls worse than Epstein. So if Greenland was a distraction from Epstein, the only issue that polls worse than Epstein is Donald Trump's infatuation with conquering Greenland. Here, play this clip.
There's been a suggestion among some that one of the things the president is trying to do by focusing on Greenland is maybe to distract from other things. With us now, CNN chief data analyst Harry Enton. So how much are people focused on Greenland opposed to other things?
Yeah, okay, so this is the whole idea, John. The President of the United States didn't like the focus on the Epstein files. We're going to change the subject and we're going to go over to Greenland. And from that perspective, it's worked. Look at this. Google searches versus December. For the Epstein files, down through the floor. Far fewer people are searching for the Epstein files, down 72%. Of course, you can't fall any lower than down being 100%. Versus for Greenland, look at this. The highest on record. Up like a rocket, almost up 1,600%. My goodness gracious. So if the idea was to distract from the Epstein files and focus the American people on something else, it has been a success by that metric.
But we don't know if that was the goal here, but if it was. Now, how is saying focus on Greenland opposed to the Epstein files in terms of focusing on an issue that's good for you?
Yeah, okay. So if this was the idea, right? Well, it's a bad idea politically speaking. Why do I say that? Because take a look here. Trump's net approval rating on the Epstein files, look at that. Just absolutely awful. 38 points below water. But any try to buy Greenland is somehow even more unpopular. Look at this. It's 40 points below water. There is barely an issue out there that's worse for Donald Trump than the Epstein files. But any attempts to buy Greenland or use military force on Greenland, which even polls worse than this, is one of them. It is arguably the most unpopular thing that Donald Trump can try to do is mess with Greenland.
So Greenland is polling worse than the Epstein files.
You got it.
Now, with the Trump regime engaged in such abhorrent behavior that I believe just shows they hate Americans, as you have Congress under MAGA Mike Johnson capitulating, bending the knee, supplying Congress, I think it's good to have governors on the front line fighting back. I want to highlight one of those governors right now. Let's bring in the governor from Massachusetts, Governor Maura Healey. I conducted this interview with Governor Healey the other